大家好，欢迎收听唱歌学中文. Hey everyone, welcome to Sing and Learn Chinese. Today's lesson is on Shi Jia Song, which is Ode to the Cross. I've always thought this title is kind of fun because Shi Jia Song sounds like cross song, like song literally is spelled S-O-N-G in Pinyin, but that's neither here nor there. Let's move on to the background of the song. So this song is the music was written by me, but the poetry was said to have been written by Emperor Kangxi, who's a pretty famous emperor during the Qing dynasty around 1650s to the 1720s. And he ruled for a very long time, obviously, and was pretty, well known and in a positive way for the most part, I suppose. Like he wasn't terrible. He's pretty interesting guy. You could study more about his history. Just Google it, learn all you want about Kangxi. Anyway, so it is said that this poem was written by him, and it is possible that during his time there were some Christian missionaries who made it to China, and so you will see that this poem there's a lot of very interesting. It's basically about the crucifixion. And there's some very interesting ideas and imagery. And if this really was indeed written by the emperor, you can tell that he understood what the story is all about. So let's take a look at the first line, which is 功成实价写成西. And 功成 means that a task has been accomplished, something is finished. 实价 refers to the cross, and the reason why is because the word 实 looks like a cross. It's a bar across. It looks like an adding symbol as well, but it looks like a cross. So 十架 is short for 十字架. 十字 means the word that means 10. The word 10 and then 架 is like a rack. So a rack that is shaped like the word 10 because the word 10 in Chinese is 十, which looks like a cross. So that's why it's called 十架. 功成十架. And then 血成溪 means blood becomes like a stream. Blood is flowing like a river, like a stream. And next line, 百丈恩流分自西. 百丈 is 100, a certain kind of unit of measurement. En is grace, liu is to flow, and then 分自西 means from the west, which makes sense because the crucifixion happened in the Middle East, in Israel, right? And Israel is west of China. So there you go. Then we have 深夜四雅, 半夜路. So 深夜 is like standing before being judged by. 四雅 is four judges. Ya is short for yamen, and it's kind of like this old Chinese type of administrator. And this actually happened. So the story of the crucifixion is that Jesus was sent to stand trial kind of under four different administrators. There was Annas, Caiaphas, Herod. Wait, I think Herod and Pilate, if I remember correctly. But anyway, so there were like four different people who were trying to figure out what he did wrong, supposedly. And so yeah, four judges. Then we've got 半夜路. So 半夜 is midnight and 路 is road. And this makes sense because Jesus was arrested late at night because his enemies didn't want the people to see them arresting him. So, at midnight he was arrested. He was shuffled in front of four different judges, and then they eventually sentenced him to death because the people made them. And then 徒方三倍两班机. So what that means is 徒方 is like the disciples. 徒 is short for 门徒, which means disciple. And then 三 is 3. 背 is short for 背叛, betrayal. And then 两番 is like two cries of thee. 鸡 is the rooster or the chicken. And this is referring to the story that when before Jesus was arrested, Simon Peter says to him, I will go wherever you go. I'll die with you. I'm super loyal. And then Jesus says to him, I tell you the truth. Before the rooster crows 3 times, or 2 times, you're going to betray me 3 times. And that actually is what happens. So that's what is referred to in this line. Then we have 5000鞭挞寸伏列. So 5000 is 5,000. 鞭挞 is lashes. And then 寸is like inch, another unit of measurement. And then fu is short for 皮肤, which is your skin. And then 裂 is to split or to crack, which means 5,000 lashes. Well, I don't know exactly how many lashes. I'm not sure that the Bible record tells you exactly, but we do know that Jesus was whipped and his skin did break. So basically, it's like 5,000 lashes. Every inch of skin was broken, was cracked. Then we have 六尺悬垂二道齐. So 六 is 6, 尺 is another unit of measurement, and then 悬垂 is to be hung, and then 二 is 2, 道 is short for 强盗, which is a thief, and then 齐 is together, like 整齐 is to be very even, so 齐 is 道齐 is everybody has arrived, so together. In other words, Jesus was with 2 other thieves, which we know in the biblical record that is what happened. He was hung on the cross in between 2 thieves, one on each side. So that's what that line means. Then we've got 惨痛悲哀经久平, and then 久平, sorry. So 惨痛 means like agonizing, and then 悲哀 is short for 八 means 8, but it's short for a longer phrase. I think it's 八方官民之众. Sometimes it's really tricky to figure out what these ancient poets really meant because they use language that people don't really use anymore. It's kind of like trying to figure out what Shakespeare meant. It's doable, but it's a little tricky. And so in my research, I believe it means something along the lines of everyone. And then 惊 is to be like to 惊吓, to surprise. And then 九品, that also is short for a phrase that refers to the magistrates, the leaders, basically. There's a certain kind of way that the Chinese society at the time organized. They had like 9 levels of administrators or something like that. So in other words, basically it just means that all of the people, the commoners alike, and the officials were surprised, were shocked at the developments. Then we've got 七言一闭万灵体. So 七 means 7, yen is a fancy way of saying words or speech. 一 means 1, 闭 is complete, like 毕业 means to graduate, so 毕 完毕 is to finish, so 毕 is complete. And then 万 means 10,000. Ling means spirits, and ti is a fancy way of saying to cry and to weep. And what that refers to is apparently before Jesus died, he said 7 things. There were 7 lines that he said. You can go check the Bible if you want to know what those 7 things are. And then 一闭 is like one complete task. So it's like 7 last words, one complete task, 10,000 spirits weep. And there you have it. This is Shi Jia Song, the poem by Emperor Kangxi, most likely. All right, and one thing that's really interesting about this song is here's the entire thing written out for you. And then you'll notice that Kangxi actually incorporated every single number from 1 to 10 in this poem. In the first line, we've got 10. In the second line, you have a 4. In the third line, you have a 5. In the fourth line, you have an 8 and a 9. In the sixth line, you have a 3. In the second to last line, you've got a 6 and a 2. And then in the final line, you have a 7 and a 1. So it's out of order, but if you were looking, you can see the numbers 1 through 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, highlighted here in red for you to see. And so Kangxi not only, or whoever wrote this poem, not only got the story accurately, like a really rich story in just 1, 2, 3, in just 8 lines, or 4 lines, if whether or not you count the comma, but he also incorporated some wordplay, number play. So he used numbers as numbers, and he also used numbers in terms of idioms as well. So this writer was really clever. Whoever wrote this was extremely, extremely smart and very good at writing. So that's the reason why we're deciding to share this song with you, put it to music, and share the poem, really, with you guys so that you can learn the numbers and learn some interesting history and vocabulary words. So, until we sing again, 再见.